Alrighty, so in this video, we are going to knock out the last representation of data using box and whisker plots. We also just refer to them as box plots for short. So this is a representation that uses a data set's quartiles. An example of a box plot is below. Okay, you'll see, so it has a box. The reason it's called a box and whisker plot is that it's got a box, and then it's got two whiskers. Okay, so what are quartiles? We'll get back to that graph in a second, but before then, quartiles are measures of position that divide a data set, arranging in ascending order, into four groups, each containing 25% of the data. This creates the 5-number summary. So this is a box plot. This graph right here is a box plot. This is the data set that goes with that box plot. So the 5-number summary consists of the following: the minimum value, and the maximum value. Okay, so here's our min, here's our max. The median value, so we need to find the median. That is our median, which is called quartile 2 or Q2. And then what happens is we group the lower 50% together, and we group the higher 50% together, and we find the median of each of those groups. The median of the lower 50%, that's going to represent quartile 1, or your lower quartile. The median of the upper 50%, that is going to represent Q3, or your upper quartile. So here, if I label those on the graph, each of these groups in between the 5-number summary, so like in between the minimum and Q1, that's 25% of my data. Between Q1 and my median, 25%. Between Q2 and Q3, 25%. Between Q3 and the max, 25%. So I'm dividing my data into 4 intervals. Okay? Just because they are different sizes does not mean that one 25% interval contains more data than the other. Okay? Where's it at? Each one contains 25% of the data. Okay? It's just showing how spread out it can be. So that's my 5-number summary. Minimum, Q1, median, also known as Q2, Q3, and the max. So the interquartile range, also known as IQR, is the difference between the upper and lower quartiles. So you might remember range. That is max minus min, highest point minus lowest point. The IQR is Q3 minus Q1. So the range represents the spread of the entire data set, max minus min. IQR represents the spread of the middle 50%, Q3 minus Q1. Okay? So let's get into analyzing a data set. So Selena sold boxes of donuts for 11 days. Number of boxes each day are given there. Use the data set, and you'll notice the box plot's already graphed for you. use the data set to answer the questions. We want to find the 5-number summary, the range, and the IQR. So we can find the 5-number summary just by looking at the graph. Okay, and this one is nice. So we want to find the max. Sorry, hang on. Starting low. We want to find the minimum, Q1, the median, Q3, and the max. The minimum is 14. Q1 is in between 16 and 18, so that's going to be 17. The median is in between 20 and 22, so that's going to be 21. Q3 is 28. The maximum is 35. So we can tell that from the box plot, but sometimes it doesn't work out like that, where we can just easily tell them from the box plot. So if we're given a data set, what we want to do is we want to list out the data from lowest to highest. Minus 17. Let's see, the next one is 20. Then 21. 22. 26, 28, 29, and 35. We can see this is the min, that's the max. Now we find the median. Now we group the upper 50% and the lower 50%, and we find the medians of each of those groupings. Median of the lower is Q1, median of the upper is Q3, and you'll see that those numbers match what we found just by looking at the box plot. Okay, so that's the 5-number summary. For the range, we're going to do max minus min. So our range is 21. Our IQR is Q3 minus Q1, or 11. Okay, so that's 5-number summary, range, and IQR. Now we need to interpret the graph using the 5-number summary. Selena sold more than 17 boxes, what percent of the time? So more than 17 boxes is talking about this part of the box plot. Remember that in between each number on the 5-number summary, that represents 25% of the data. That's 25%, that's 25%, that's 25%. So Selena sold more than 17 boxes 75% of the time. What is the most number of boxes sold? That's your max. And the max was 35 boxes. Okay? So that's kind of an intro to box plots. Each interval represents 25% of the data. Okay? So questions like example 1b, those are going to pop up a lot on the worksheets and in the next You Try Now. So make sure you practice that. I will scroll down so that you can see the answers, and then that'll be good for box plots. So here you see how to find the 5-number summary, range, and IQR if you can't determine what they are from the box plot. Gotta do it by hand. And a couple other follow-up questions. Data sets given, box plots given. You just have to know how to answer the questions and analyze the graph. So it might be easier if I flip it this way. That way you can see everything. That's box plots. Let me know if you have any questions. Make sure you practice it. Your quiz is going to have questions about dot plots, bar graphs, histograms, and box plots on them. Let me know if you got any questions. Have a good one.